saw the trailer for American Hero and I thought, wow, that looks like a damn fine superhero movie, along the same lines as Chronicle, and it certainly is. It does have a lot of similarities to Chronicle, which I'll come on to again. And this one stars Stephen Dorff and is directed by Nick Love. Now, Stephen Dorff, as you may or may not know, has dipped his toe in the superhero genre before. He was in the original Blade movie starring against Wesley Snipes. He was the bad guy, Deacon Frost. And in this movie, he's playing a character who has got telekinetic powers, basically. He can kind of move stuff around with his mind. And he's already got this power when the movie starts. Now, the weird thing about this film is when you look at the trailer, you can kind of guess the arc. You know, you basically think he's going to be, you know, somewhat of a kind of at a loose end, but he's going to have this kind of redemptive arc. And it follows that beat. But what I wasn't prepared for was 2/3 of this film, I would even say 3/4, is basically just Stephen Dorff being self-destructive on screen. In some films about certain subjects, maybe that would be what you'd expect, but not in a kind of what's sort of labelled as a superhero film, and they're certainly being marketed like that. It's just scene after scene of Stephen Dorff getting high, getting, you know, stoned, getting pissed, or trying to chat women up, or just sleeping rough, or basically being a bum. And I would have thought maybe that was going to be the first act, but it seems to be nearly the whole film. And you have you know, he basically decides he's going to go on this redemptive arc, and he has one small knockback, fairly small knockback, and he kind of gives up. You know, and it kind of towards the end again, obviously you're thinking, okay, he's going to pick himself up and take out the local drug dealers, and that's your film. That is your film. There's nearly no plot to this film. It's the other weird thing about this film, I have to say, and I'm going off on a bit of a rant about this one, but I think my expectations were a bit high for this one, is the direction here is of some strange choices. So it's kind of made partially like it's meant to be like a documentary. So there's scenes where we have the characters talking to the camera, and it almost is like there's a film crew there. You never hear them speak though. You don't actually know if there is a film crew there. There's other scenes which clearly there's no one there, and you know, there's situations that happen that obviously it's just them just going on a traditional narrative. So it's a weird mix. They go one way or the other. There's no. What bothers me about this film, it seems so inconsistent. Now, on the plus side, I think the powers are quite well realised. I mean, it's obviously a relatively low budget film, but I thought that the way they kind of made stuff move around, obviously with CGI. I mean, you can kind of tell it's CGI, but I can sort of forgive it for a low budget film. You know, but I quite enjoyed it. I thought it was quite fun, and kind of had some quite fun, inventive ways about how this sort of stuff is used, and seeing the physics of it seem kind of quite realistic as well, which I kind of quite liked. Stephen Dorff's character, I'm kind of torn about, because he spends so much of the film just basically being an asshole. It's really hard to like him, but I do like Stephen Dorff as an actor. You know, I think he's kind of quite charismatic, and you kind of want to see him succeed, but it makes it really hard for you to like this character, because it just seems so self-destructive, and it's really hard to root for someone when they kind of really just are their own worst enemy. I did like Eddie Griffin here, who plays kind of his best friend, who is this kind of guy who's been some vet, and he's been wounded he's basically serving in the military somewhere. And he's basically the somewhat moral compass, though he pretty much does the same kind of stuff. But lots of the other characters seem so unlikable. His two other friends, really unlikable. And how the hell does no one know about his powers? I mean, he so overtly uses them. You know, his sister has this boyfriend that comes round, and he's making stuff floating around just to sort of scare him and stuff like that. And loads of people seem to know about it, but this kind of outside of this kind of small town, the word never gets out. It seems a little silly to me. I've got to say, I was somewhat disappointed with this film. It does have some good elements in it, but it's very similar to the way it does remind me so much of Chronicle. It's not a found footage film, although, like I say, sometimes it kind of makes it look like it's using that kind of first person camera and all that kind of stuff. But overall, there's very little story here. It's a mixture of tones. The direction is inconsistent. The characters are somewhat unlikable. There are some reasonable sort of special effects here for the budget, I would say, and I do kind of quite like the gritty realism to a certain point, but overall I found this film a bit boring, if I'm honest, and I kind of wasn't a big fan. So I'm going to give this movie a 4 out of 10. Have you seen it? What did you think of it? Leave me a comment and I will look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.